persistence is key. Successful businesses do not grow overnight. It really takes time and effort to build a good, successful business. So I think if there's, a challenge along the way, just take it on, learn from it, just stay persistent, that you'll be able to overcome it and go on and do the next challenge.
Welcome to the Payo E-Commerce Academy podcast, where we help you with your e-commerce journey. Here is our host, Althea.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Payo E-Commerce Academy podcast. So I'm Coach Althea, who will be filling in for Coach Jen today as she's sick. Coach Jen, if you're listening, we hope you get well soon. So actually guys, for today's episode, it's a bit different from all the other episodes we've done so far. That's because we have the pleasure of interviewing one of Payo's clients today, Zenutrients. So we are joined today by Larisse and Miggy, so the head of supply chain and the general manager of Zenutrients, respectively. Welcome to the Payo E-Commerce Academy podcast, Larisse and Miggy. Thank you so much for being our very first clients to guest on the podcast.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. So we're excited to learn all about Zenutrients, so let's get into it. For the first question, can you give the audience an overview of your business? Like, what is Zenutrients really all about?
Absolutely. So Zenutrients, we're a manufacturer, we're a brand builder. We build some of our most notable brands are Curls by Zenutrients. It's the first ever Filipino, locally made personal care brand made solely for people with curly hair. We also have Zenutrients, which is the mother brand, and a variant there's Google, which is really well known for hair growth.
Like Google shampoo and conditioner.
Correct.
Nice.
We also have Nanu, which is again Philippines' first personal care brand that has zero waste. So we actually have a full cycle where we collect back the bottles. It's made in aluminum bottles.
Oh, wow.
And the youngest brand, which we launched this year, is Colors by Zenutrients. It's made for people with colored hair. We take pride in being 100% a natural product, paraben-free and sulfate-free.
Great. That sounds really nice. And I love how you mentioned like it's made for Filipino hair and whatnot. Products that are not only like clean and natural, but like specific to your target audience, which is of course, we're in the Philippines, so
Yeah.
Filipinos. Okay. So these are very, very interesting products. Like what strategies have you guys been using to really like thrive in e-commerce or really make yourself known? Like especially since the landscape is so like saturated.
For that one, as we all know and have experienced, the e-commerce landscape in the Philippines has drastically changed over the years. Maybe as early as, early 2010s, mid 2010s, with Shopee and Lazada coming in. So it has really rapidly transformed into what it is right now. And even more so during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
When the pandemic hit, we see consumer behavior change a lot. Everyone's online. Almost everyone owns a smartphone.
True.
It's so affordable right now, right? So internet connectivity is also very much improved even in the rural area. So we see that the e-commerce landscape has drastically changed over the years. And for us as a company, we want to make sure that we are on top of things, that we stay relevant in this particular landscape. So we have, multiple strategies that we have to make sure that we thrive in this environment right now. And one of the things that we focus on is, making sure that we have a very strong presence online. So we made ourselves available via our websites, Shopee, Lazada, and even TikTok now, so that our customers have multiple options to choose from when they want to buy from us.
I think that's really important. Like, I feel like one of the top things that customers want nowadays are brands to be easily reachable. So whether that's like again on social media or on your website, I feel like it's a good thing that you're presenting all of those channels and those options for your customers.
Right. And we also want to build that strong connection with our customers. Like we are very much present in social media, building that connection with them. building a community online, essentially. So just to share with you, just recently for our curls brand, we launched this nationwide campaign to look for a brand ambassador for our curls products. So we do that just to really engage with our community, with our users, and release very informative contents, take behind the scenes shots so that our customers can also see who Zenutrients is behind the scenes, who the people are behind the scenes. So we do a lot of those things just to make sure that we are relevant and that we are amidst all of the noise online, that we are heard, and at the same time we are able to hear out what our customers have to say. So that's just one of the strategies that we have going on to make sure that we thrive in this environment right now.
Yeah, maybe just to add also, on top of what Larisse mentioned, the team is extremely agile. The thing with e-commerce, it's never a constant strategy.
True.
As Larisse mentioned, it always changes. So there's always a continuous learning for the team. So just sharing with you, just yesterday with Larisse, we came from a BR with Lazada, where they gave recommendations on certain strategies you should be working on the second half. So it's always iterating, it's always changing, and I guess it's not one strategy that we do, but it's just a constant change, trial and error, and just really trying to see what makes the most sense for our market today.
So I think one important thing you mentioned is how your team has been agile. I feel like that's so important, especially since the past 3 years or so. You can see really how fast the landscape has changed and how you need to keep innovating and really thinking of ways to stay relevant. So from what I'm hearing, you guys really try to stay on top of it, and I think your strategies have been really interesting so far. So yeah, thank you for sharing those.
So just to build on that also, we want to make sure that, whenever they are visiting us online, we want to make sure that all of the touch points that we have with them, they do experience the best customer experience with us. So in all of the touch points, so from visiting our websites, our shops, the ease of navigating through that, as well as, getting in touch with our customer service team, having that interaction with them, that all of their queries are being answered about the order status or even about our products. So we want them to enjoy the process of whenever they are interacting with us as a brand, that they experience that kind of joy that, oh, this is a good experience for me. I want to remember this every time that I do get to interact with a brand.
Ah, that's really nice. And would you say, even if the interactions are mostly online now, of course, since like we mentioned a while ago, that you as a brand still provide like that personal touch or like that human touch to the interactions that you give to your customers?
Yes, definitely. So that spans all across touch points, right?
Mhm.
Even though it happens online, the interactions that they have with our customer service team, for example, that always has that personal touch to it, wherein our team makes sure that whenever they interact with their customers, it happens, very efficiently. That it happens in a way that it's very Zen nutrients, so to speak. And even when the orders happen offline, what I mean to say is whenever we do have that um, deliveries, when we do have that touch point with our customers, we want to make sure that whenever they receive our products, it's in good condition, that it's well packed, that it's handled with care, it contains the right products based on their order. So in all of those things, we want to make sure that it's a good experience for them.
I feel like it's so great that you build an experience wherein you really show the customers that they care every step of the way. So yeah, that's really nice. Um, so since we talked about your strategies, I mean, it sounds like you guys are doing good, right? But like any other business, I'm sure there are still some challenges that have come up. With whatever it be it like in the landscape or like certain specific challenges for your brand or your products. So would you be able to share about some of those challenges and also how you've overcome them or like what you're doing to overcome them?
So in terms of online selling, one of the challenges that we've encountered in the past is on CODs. Actually, before when we just had Zenutrients as a website, we didn't accept any COD transactions. But then we noticed that that is a barrier to entry for a lot of Filipinos. Of course, not everyone owns a credit card. It's very difficult to just go to a 7-Eleven to do your transaction there, upload your screen proof of payment or whatnot. So we saw that as a barrier to entry for a lot of Filipinos doing online transactions. So when during the pandemic, when we launched Curls, the team decided to also incorporate COD transactions, open that up to our customers, and we see really that a huge percentage of our orders are being transacted through COD. I would say right now, at least 50% of
Wow.
online transactions via COD. So, so just overcoming that barrier, I think, help us as a company be able to reach more customers, so that we become relevant. We become something that is very accessible for the everyday Filipino.
Yeah. And I think that's so great because like even with the advancements in like tech and like e-wallets and e-payments, I feel like a lot of Filipinos are very cash centric still. So it's good that you guys got to recognize that and immediately acted on it. And as you said, you did notice like a significant difference in terms of the purchases. Like a lot of them are COD.
Right,
So
right.
yeah.
And but even in opening up that option, that posed also a whole set of challenges for us, right? So being able to properly collect the payments, making sure that what has been remitted is correct, doing all of those reconciliations. So it's also challenging for us to do that, the admin side of things. But I would say that, you know, going through that or opening that payment method for us really just opened a lot of doors for the everyday Filipino who would like to gain access to our products.
So would you say like dealing with the challenges is worth it?
I would say so, yes, definitely. But the good thing is we're seeing, a lot of different options now, as you mentioned, GCash and other forms of payment. So hopefully the trend changes, but I think COD would be here to stay for a little while.
Yes. Definitely. How about you, Miggy?
Yeah, I think on a more broader perspective, the challenges we're experiencing this year is really a shift in buying profiles, right? For example, I think 2023 is like the year we can finally say things started to open up since the pandemic, right?
Definitely.
And that I wouldn't call it a challenge, but I think the opportunity is building our business out also on top of the e-commerce business. So what's really happening is that everything's opening up. There's that means there's a lot more people shopping in supermarkets, shopping in physical stores, and I think the opportunity for the company in 2023 is really how do we cater to this now open market,
Yeah.
and how do we expand our reach? Because in e-commerce, we can reach every single individual wherever you are through your phone, right? But then in a physical world, that's much more difficult. You need distribution points. You need physical stores. You need manpower, and so on and so forth. So, I think the biggest opportunity for our company in 2023 is how to address that, the opening up of the market.
Yeah, that's true. And like, unlike, selling online, you have to be even more strategic with your physical stores or like brick and mortar stores because, like you said, what type of people do you want to reach? And then that's when you kind of like think about where you want to place your store, right? And then you also have to consider do you place it like in the mall or like do you just want a kiosk? So I feel like that's definitely something you guys should consider. And it's good that you guys are already like diving into it or at least looking into it for this year. So I'm actually really happy to hear about what you guys perceived as your challenges, because you guys are very open about it, and it also shows me that as a brand you're very proactive as well to solving these challenges. So it was quite refreshing because you guys were honest about it, and also because you guys were really on top of everything.
Actually, there are a lot more challenges than what we have mentioned, but it's something that we just tackle head on.
Yeah.
Given that we have I would say, a good set of um, members of the team, I think with any challenges that come our way, I think we would be able to really focus and battle it head on. Given that you have the right people.
That's so true, and I think that's very important as well. So thank you again for sharing. So we've talked about your strategies and also your challenges. Let's go talk about Zen Nutrients and the milestones you guys have achieved so far. We can talk about maybe what you've achieved, if not this year, maybe this year and last year.
Sure, I'll take this. I think if I were to think of, let's say, maybe the three things we can be the most proud about, I think the first one would really be our consumers. So we have over 100,000 five-star reviews.
Wow.
And it's something that we take pride, we're really proud about because, well, these aren't seeded people giving reviews. And these, we read through, we sift through all of them. And in going through the reviews, you see people who share that their lives has changed because of the products that we sell. Stories of having the best hair that they could ever have. Stories of confidence, of lost hope. They thought that they didn't have any hope with their hair fall, and they tried our Google, and it worked for them really well. People with alopecia and so on. There's countless number of stories.
Curly haired people being confident about their curls.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Absolutely. So in the end, I think what we're most proud about is the impact we have on the people we serve.
Yeah.
And we have 100,000 reviews, 5-star reviews to really account for that. On a more business level, I think the thing that we can say we're proud about, specifically in an e-commerce channel, is that we rank 3 in the hair care category in platforms like Shopee.
Like overall?
Overall.
Wow.
So we take pride in being the only Filipino company in a slew of multinational giants that are with tremendous budgets and whatnot. In the end, a company like ours that really which really builds amazing brands for our consumers can really stand amongst the giants.
That's like, I think on both points you shared, they're just they really are big achievements. On the first one, I think it really shows that, because some people, they think, right, like companies, at the end of the day, they just care about like making sales. But then what you've just shared, the fact that you guys really go through the reviews one by one, really trying to see what your customers need, and also seeing how you guys have changed their lives, I feel like that really puts like the heart in your brand. And I think that's so important, because when a company is focused on sales, they don't see the people. But then obviously from what you guys have shared, it's really all about your customers. So I really love that. And then second of all,
Sorry, before the second one,
Yeah.
it's the people that make the company anyway. So we view our consumers as a huge part of our company.
Yeah.
In fact, in our mission, it's everything we do is to give care that goes back to them.
So that's really nice. Like, I mean, I wish all brands cared like that, right? To your second point, I think that is very impressive as well. Like, again, being a local brand, and like what you said, like I feel like Zen Nutrients is really like, built itself like again on like the needs of consumers and whatnot, and it's not like a big multinational company of sorts, but then to be able to be there, I think speaks to the effectivity of your products and just how amazing the customer service you guys provide is. So yeah. Okay, I think those are two really big milestones. So since we've talked about that already, let's talk about what makes you guys, well, I feel like we've answered it a bit already the past few questions, but let's talk about what makes you guys unique. So what sets you guys apart from your competitors in the market right now?
Yeah, I'll take this. So, on a functional level, I'd say the hair care market is predominantly like made of commercial brands, right? And we play in a more niche, natural hair care category. So I think that's one thing that sets our products apart from like, I'd say 95% of products in the hair care category today. On a more deeper level, I where we view our where we stand out is really in the team. I think Larry's started talking about this in a while ago, but like we really have an amazing team. Our culture and people, we have a culture that's really built on freedom and responsibility. What this means is that our team is made of really eight players whom we actually really trust, and there's not a lot of um, the decision making is really made by people. There's no red tape of needing to be approved by whatnot and so on and so forth. But this really does. It really fosters a lot of accountability of the work people do. It also hastens innovation. I talked about agility. It enables teams to move really, really fast. And I think that these factors are important in a market that's changing very fast as well.
For sure. And also like since you mentioned like it's quite niche that you guys are going like products that are like all natural, right? Like 95%. It's like big brands that have, probably don't use like natural products like you guys do. But then I think again it speaks to um the capabilities of your team that Zen Nutrients has been able to grow the way it has now. So
Yeah, and just to build on what Maggie said also. So the goal is, to really build this company from a team of A players. And when you have that kind of mindset, like nakakagana magtrabaho. When you know that everyone you're working with are A players, you know that they're all giving their best for the company, for the consumers, nakakagana talaga magtrabaho. And it doesn't feel like you're working. It really feels like you're just giving it your all because that's how you are, and you want to contribute in that sense for the company and for the people, for the consumers. So I do feel no bias that really sets us apart from other companies out there.
that's really nice. And from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you guys really have each other's backs. So like how would you say this Zen Nutrients really motivate like each player or like each team member in your company?
Well, I think it starts with trust. Um, we have extremely high trust in the organization. What that means is that people who actually, every single individual and every single seat is important. Our mission actually was created by an intern.
Wow.
And that means, yeah, that people are empowered to do really great things in this organization. And we trust people to do amazing things. It also means that um, we need to make sure we have extremely amazing people in every seat. So that's what it that's the challenge that we have to do in order to withhold that kind of culture.
Wow. I mean, I feel like that's kind of the dream, right? With any organization that like everyone's like an A player, everyone's like doing their work, and I am really happy for you guys that that's how Zen Nutrients works. So since it sounds like you guys really have the building blocks to making like a really good brand and like thriving in e-commerce. Do you guys have any specific tips for aspiring entrepreneurs or like maybe businesses who are like still growing, especially in a niche like yours, say natural products or like let's say hair care that they also want to be like more clean and all that. So would you guys have any tips?
For me, I would say start with your passion. Start with what you're good at. Because if you have that, it's much easier to build something, to create something, because that's what you're passionate about. That's your strength. As opposed to forcing things a certain way just because that's the trend or that's what's working right now. So I would say first off, start with that, and then usually companies start off with just one person thinking of an idea. Then surround yourself with a group of people with the right team who will help you propel it to the next level. So people who might have a different perspective than you, who would have a different skill set than you, so that you can build on each other to be able to grow the business. And finally, I think persistence is key. It's successful businesses do not grow overnight.
Yeah.
So it really takes time and effort to build a good successful business. So I think if there's a challenge along the way, just take it on, learn from it, just stay persistent. That you'll be able to overcome it and go on and do the next challenge. I think those are the key things I would say. Give advice for someone who's trying to build their own business.
Yeah, I love those. And I feel like one of the misconceptions, like coming from what you shared about, surrounding yourself with the right people, I think one of the misconceptions that some businesses have, or like entrepreneurs that are starting, is that, they don't really want to ask for help, or they want to do everything on their own. But like from what you shared, it's really about surrounding yourself with the right people and like building a team that you trust.
Right.
And also being, working and being persistent with whatever your business is, because as you mentioned, like, it's not like you'll start today and then tomorrow you'll have thousands of 5-star reviews like you guys. So I think that's really important, the points that you shared.
Right. And it's not just, building your own team internally. It can also mean, collaborating externally with the right partners, with the right organizations, with the right vendors. So it's really surrounding yourself with the right components, the right team to help you navigate through all of these complexities, because it's really difficult to be doing it all by yourself.
Yeah.
We've tried that before, in terms of fulfilling orders,
Yeah.
delivering the orders. We've done that before. It's a pain. It's a lot of admin and operational issue that we encountered. But just stepping back, is this really what we want to do, or we just partner with someone who will handle that side of the business so that we can focus on other things? So so it's really building internally and externally those kinds of connections.
Yeah, and I feel like by taking a step back and reassessing those things, Zen Nutrients had the opportunity to grow even more. Once you decide, like, oh, we can look for a reliable partner for this aspect of our business, it gives you more time to focus on growing the parts of your
Right.
business that you guys should be focusing on. So, like scaling and whatnot.
Correct.
Great. Anything to add, Lee?
Yeah, so for me, I do have, so one is an aspiring entrepreneur and one is somebody running a business already, right?
Okay.
So for the aspiring entrepreneur, my advice or my tip would be having clarity about your North Star. I actually do an exercise annually, me and my wife, where we do a North Star exercise and we try to figure out the person we want to become in 3 years. We envision who we want to become, the values you want to have, and why we're doing the things that we're doing.
Yeah.
I think when you start to have clarity about the life you want to live, the person you want to be, and the reason why you're doing the things that you're doing every day, it gives you a greater direction on the path you want to take. I say this because I don't think entrepreneurship is an easy route. It's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
There's a misconception that, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur because I want more time. I think that's false.
Yeah.
You might have more control of time, but I don't. It's definitely not more time. Um, so when you're very clear about where you want to go, then it becomes an easier decision to actually venture into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And figuring out the type of entrepreneur you want to be. Are you going to be an operator? Are you going to be an entrepreneur but just an investor? Or are you building a business for passive income? All of those kinds of entrepreneurial ventures are very, very different. But getting an understanding of the kind of life you want to live and why you're doing it will help you make that decision.
I think that's so true. Like, I think like what you mentioned, it's important to have a goal. I don't think it's wise for, let's say, an aspiring entrepreneur to be like, okay, this is what I want to do today. I'm not going to think about tomorrow, because I feel like that's not a very good um, path to success. So it's good that you mentioned having like a North Star and like really knowing the goal of your company.
For my tip to somebody leading a business in the same niche as you mentioned, surprisingly to be to focus on yourself. Um, if you're leading a business, there's a lot on your shoulders and there's a lot of decisions you have to make. And if you're not operating at 100% of your capacity, it's gonna be difficult. So my holy grail is that every morning I need to do three things before my first meeting, and it's to exercise, and it's to exercise for at least 20 to 30 minutes, meditate for at least 10 minutes, and to read or listen to a podcast like this, which means learn
Yeah.
every single day before my very first meeting. And I think that helps people leading businesses in making decisions.
Yeah.
It becomes clearer when you start facing challenges. You get to pull from things you've read before, or people you've talked to, or people you've listened to in podcasts, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, those three things.
Yeah, I think that's important as well, because that cliche saying that you can't pour from an empty cup. So it's like, I think by being grounded and centered yourself as like someone who's like leading the business, it'll also translate to the type of business that you have, and the type of um the ways that you basically deal with your customers, with your partners, and everything. So I do think it's very important to start with yourself in terms of if you want to be successful running a business. Yeah. Okay. So is there anything else? Any other tips that you guys want to share at the moment?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Larisse and Miggy, for all of the insights. Like, I really enjoyed getting to know about Zenutrients. I honestly felt inspired, and as like a girl with wavy hair, like products don't always like align with my hair. So I'm just so happy to know that there are brands who really care about the experiences of their consumers and whatnot.
You should try us.
I know. I'm definitely gonna check out the website after this recording. So don't worry, I'm definitely gonna do it. So you also gave our listeners really important and really helpful tips. So thank you for that as well. Before we end, is there anything else that you'd like to share? Anything else you want to mention?
For me, I think I would just like to take this opportunity also to thank Payo for inviting us today. It's been just a few months of having this relationship with Payo, but we value the relationship so much with Payo. Payo is a pillar for us in growing our business. So we just thank you for giving us this opportunity also to showcase our brand.
Of course, of course. And like, we're so happy to have you guys, and also like we're happy to be your partner in e-commerce. Like, we're really thankful. And of course, we always try to, help you guys in whatever way that you need help with. Thank you. So for people who want to try out your products, where can we go to find you guys?
So you can follow us on social media. We're Zenutrients, Curls by Zen, Colors by Zen, and we're on IG, Facebook, TikTok, whatnot. But if you guys want to try us out, comment below on the YouTube video. First 5 people to comment mine, screenshot it, and send it to our social media accounts. We'll send you a freebie.
Wow. I would comment right now.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I think that's it for today's episode. So for more content on anything and everything e-commerce, don't forget to follow our Payo E-commerce Academy podcast. Thank you.